Our next app showcase is going to be presented by Cumbia. They'll be presenting their TrackR app. And with no further ado, I'm going to turn it over to uh, Jonathan and Mario from Cumbia.
Hi guys. This is Jonathan, and Mario and Oscar are with me here. So let me give you a little introduction. Um, don't get hide this to show my screen. Do you guys see my screen? Show my screen. Okay, perfect. Do you see the web? Let me hide this. Okay, there we go. So basically, we're Cumbia. We're a web and mobile development agency. We try to focus on building products for people, not so much the IT aspect of it, but people that want to build out a product and sell it, be it SaaS or through the App Store or anything like that. So we're more of a product company. We started working with Rhodes roughly 2 years ago, when it was still in 1.0 or pre 1.0, and we've grown with it for the last 3 years. And the reason is we are primarily a Ruby shop, and we love all things Ruby, and Rhodes is really efficient. Um, so the app we're going to showcase today is Pivotal Tracker. The reason we decided to build this app, and let me give you a little bit of what it is. Um, Pivotal is a Pivotal Tracker is an app used to manage projects in the agile method. So when we work with clients, what we do is we work in pairs. We do a lot of pair programming. What we do is two guys sit on a computer and we do what's called test-driven development. So one person writes the test, the app fails because there's no code there. Then we build a functionality that validates the test. We use RSpec, and this is possible. So this has been possible in things like Rails before, and it started to be possible in Rhodes starting in version 1.4 with that release. So we do everything test driven with tests. And the reason we like Pivotal Tracker in particular is the fact that we're able to schedule sprints in there, add all the stories, the Scrum's way. So when we were looking for an app to build to showcase what was possible with Rhodes, we decided to build a mobile app using their API. One of the reasons that Rhodes is a perfect fit for this is two things. One, we could build it for both platforms, like all of you know. And the other great thing was row sync. There's a lot of data that comes with each of the stories in Pivotal. Let me show you some of the what Pivotal actually looks like. So you can see all the stories, and each story has a lot of content. And the fact that there's a lot of them makes row sync really necessary, so that you can store that information locally, so that you can work if you're on the go on a plane or wherever, and be able to use it successfully without having to worry about getting the data every single time. Most of the available Pivotal Tracker mobile apps require constant connection to the internet, so you can't use it offline. So row sync was key in making this possible. So we first released this app back in version 1.2 of Rhodes and row sync. Then we updated it once Rhodes 1.4 came out, and now we're releasing it again with a new 2.0 Rhodes. The cool thing about this version is that we're actually using it building. We're actually building it using the new Row Hub. We created a new project a few weeks ago, started testing it, and we built it entirely. We did all the builds using this, and we're migrating our current roasting server hosted on our server over to RowHub because it's simply more efficient. Um, so let me get started with the intro for the app. So just FYI, so this is our website where we have the link to the app. This is the app on the App Store. This is the previous version. We're updating it in the next few days with a new 2.0 version, which fixes some bugs. We're moving it to RowHub, and we're using some new transitions in JQ Touch to make it easier to use. So moving into let me open up the simulator here. So this is the app when in its logged out state. I'm going to start off by entering my data. So as a user, you can log in using each time your username and password, or there's a special token that is provided by Pivotal so that you don't have to use your username and password every time. So I'm logging in. So right now, what's happening is we're leveraging RowSync at this point to bring all the project data, and this has all been synced. So anytime we do a sync, this is the only data that comes up. Reason being, it makes it more efficient, and we make sure that the projects are always in sync because we're always adding and removing different types of projects. Once we do click to go into a project, we don't use the actual sync feature. We use the roads search capabilities, and because there are a lot of stories, and it's easier to manage this way. The stories are being stored locally thanks to RowSync, and I'm going to show you a really nice thing. So I'm going to close up the app and reopen it, and it saved the state of where you were or where you left off, just in case you're in a call or whatever. So it's almost like multitasking is happening without really consuming any resources or anything. So it's really nice to keep it that way. So going into the story, there's a different types of story. So this is what's called a feature in Pivotal. As you can see, that's a feature. That's a bug. So it supports all the different categories. And then once you go in to the story, you can actually see all the different information for the story, the point, the state, the acceptance criteria, and even the comments. So it's all there. So we have when we do projects, we use GitHub. The cool thing is that we have some communication between GitHub and the stories. So the stories are connected with. Each story has the commit link to it. So then you can change the different states of the story, and update it as you go, and also you can do edit the information or the stuff there. So that's what the basic features are. Then we also have a few other ones. The client ID, which we use to identify the different devices. We have a reset database in case you just want to clean it off and avoid having the stuff stored for any reason. We have the performance sync that would update things, the project and all that stuff in case there's something new you need to see and it's not in the fixed time interval. And the traditional log out button. So what I'm going to do now, so I'm gonna pass the call over to Mario. He's our all things Row Mobile lead, which includes RowSync and roads. and he's going to walk you through some of the main stuff like view management, tab management, and testing. Like we mentioned, we use RSpec. So he's going to take you through that.
Hi, I'm Mario. So I'm going to give you talking to Jonathan just presented now. Okay, one other cool thing about TrackR app using roads and browsing is that actually we are storing the data on the device. So now that Jonathan opened this project, so I'm gonna go back to my project list, and you will see that if actually you just open a project and the device sync that data, if I go back to that project, then it won't sync again. So let's check that. So right now it's syncing my stories on the current list, and let's wait until it finish. Okay, you got it here. Got all my stories. I got the features, the chores, and okay, I'm gonna go back. So if I click again on the same project, it won't do any sync because all my data is there. So I need to wait until the data pass some time. So it okay, anyway, I'm gonna click again. So the all the data is there. So I didn't call any sync. So we're the same thing if I click again. So I haven't clicked on this project before, so I need to sync. Or well, I don't have any data here. Okay, go back to the project, go back to our projects, and the information is right here. It's really fast, and they don't need to sync. Other things that we thought in the first time of this is that actually on Pivotal Tracker we only use basically the same projects while we are working. So maybe you can have a lot of projects in your list of projects, but you're only working in one at a time or two or I don't know 3. So that was other reason why not to sync all the data, because maybe we're gonna be syncing data that the user actually is not gonna be checking that. So I'm going to give you oh okay, one more thing I remember right now. So here in the project you can switch views. Right now it's my current list, so I can click current, so I can go to the current queue, to my backlog queue, to the done and the icebox. So if I click backlog, so it's gonna be syncing and getting me the stories on my backlog. So if I would use sync instead of search, then it will sync me all the stories. But then maybe I only need the story that I need on the current list. So why sync everything if I only need that? So that's why we only syncing what we need using that cool roads feature called search. So if I click comments, so it will give me the comments, because maybe I need to see the data. So then why do that? So let's check the code and let's see what is the magic for this. So just like Jonathan said, we create this project using RoadHub. So there's my 2 projects right here. So you can check that actually we're doing that. So TrackR Roads and my TrackR Browsing. Well, so we're using JQ Touch, and the JQ Touch is right here on the layout. You can see where we are requesting for that files, and now that we're there, we only for the view to make the transitions we using the basic JQ Touch. So for example, I right here on this view, and for making the transition to one page to another page, I need to get everything on a long div. So I have this div, and everything is gonna be here until finish. So I have all my projects right here on the links. So I'm using a JQTOS theme called Plastic. We have the themes folder right here, and there the theme. Where is it? Where's my teams? Right here, JQ Touch Me. So that's the CSS for JQ Touch. So we get the theme. He will know what is it, and he will load that theme. So if I change that, I can also change this CSS manually and get the different view. Okay, so that's how we do the transition right here. And let's go to my project controller and see how are we doing the bars. Right now, as you see, we're only handling 2 bars. Actually, it's using the iPhone navbar. We have the projects and the settings. Actually, we're managing everything from the story. So that's why we only have these 2 links. So we have from our projects controller, we have this method called this action called create tab bar. Well, you will see a lot of this because we love to have a lot of information in our log so we can check everything. You should use that too. Okay, so I have my tabs right here, and I have my labels, projects, settings, and I can have an action for that. So I can click, it will give me to that action, and the icon. So that will bring me the icon of that tab bar. If you wanted to add a new one, so you just add a new one here, and then you will have a new tab bar. But just like I said, we thought at that point that we only going to be using this, so that's why we only had this. So in the index of my project, I calling a sync. So that's why we don't have the search right here, because actually we're syncing that project source, so it will bring me all of that. So for the others controllers, for example, let's check the story controller. So we have here, so we'll check the difference right here. Is in my action index here, I got the search. So I'm not doing anything, I'm calling search. And the search, what it's doing is that I can give, I can tell Rosin what I need, because we are using Pivotal Tracker API. I'm gonna quick give a tour here for the Tracker API. So this is basically what we are working with that. So we need to get HTTPS request or HTTP if the project needs it, and we need a token. Integrated stories actually, Pivotal Tracker needs that the user send to the server an XML. So we have, just to let you know the way that we're working here, is that we are telling the project ID and the iterations. And so I will go to the Pivotal Tracker and will bring me the stories, only the stories that has that project ID. That's why we're not syncing everything, because if we do a regular sync, then it will bring me all the data for all of the projects, but I only need this. So that's why we call search. Right here, I'm having this little if statement. So it's telling me that if I have some stories, then don't call the search. So that's why if I on my project list and I want to click on a different on a project that I already have that data storage in my device, then it will call the search. It will take me directly to the index right here. So that is how this is working. So I'm going to log out here, and I will tell you now how are we logging in. Pivotal Tracker needs your token ID. So in our server, we have for application RB where we define the authenticated method. So when you tell the user, when you tell the application that true or false, so we can authenticate for that. So we have a method get token. So the user go to the token, then go to people to tracker using that API that I show you, and it will return the login or it will return false, either the password or the username are wrong. And well, that's how we authenticate it. Then what we do is that once that the user has already logged in, we are storing the token. So we're getting that and getting that in the storage. So then I just get the token if I need it. For example, to create a new story, for edit a new story, or for delete a new story, I need to know the token of the user, so I call this get token. So that is why all of my sources, for example, comment right here, projects right here, or story, they are everything called for the people to tracker. These stories, so I can get the token. So I get the object ID, get the source. I have all the information right here. And also I have here this create XML when I'm creating the XML, because what people tracker does is that you return, I get the hash from the roads, and I need to create XML because the people tracker API demands it. For example, if I go here, manage story, for example, to create a new story, I need to give to people that tracker a new XML. So I take that hash and I create a new XML. So then I go to the create method. So what I'm doing here is create the params, then yeah, right here. So I create that XML, and then I parse that URL, and then I go to people to tracker and tell, hey, create that story. That's right here. So if something happens, I call that race. And actually, for delete, I don't need to create any XML or do some sync or anything like that, because actually the delete will only go on delete that. We don't need to do anything right there. So one other thing here is for stories. Let me open here these stories right here in my roads project. So I have the create method here. So what is happening right now is that I get the information for that story that I get from the view. So I get those parameters. And when I click save, I call sync notification. So I put all the information there, also the parameters. And then what I do is that we're having this with the help of the guy from Mobile Lars, who was giving me a cool way to make this works. Is that we have this creation true. So what it's doing is that once that is this method is called, I will call this send notification, and I will go to the method send notification, and this will wait until that is finished. So that way we're rendering that to the OK, and this is the view when we have the spinning wheel. So when this is done, I will redirect back to the index. So once that I in the index page, and then it will tell me that, hey, actually you have that. Actually, you have stories there, so don't sync. But we have that create action there. So it will call a new search, because we will have a new object created in our device, but that device, that I'm sorry, the data is not on the server. So we're calling a new search so we can tell people to tracker that this is my new story. Go and have that story there. And well, this is the search callback. that we call right here, which is doing the redirect to the index. And we'll also here passing all the parameters. Okay, one more things that I could show you here is the specs that we were using for the sources. That actually is they're actually one of the coolest features that Romobile releases with the new Roses and Rosen version that you can test pretty much everything. Well, actually, we have the authenticated methods. We're calling test right here, and we before every single step of the test, we're calling that so I can get the token because if the token is not there, then that won't work. But for example, we have something like this. We have some test stories, so we can call that, and those tests will work, and you can check that the application is running. Um, I'm going to log in with my credentials again, with Jonathan's. Okay, I'm going to log in, and it will bring me these stories. So you check that I'm creating the tab right here, and these are my stories. So the same project that is there, I'm going to open a new one right here. Check that now that I get this project, it will bring me the stories. So if I go to the story controller right here, index right here. So I will do this. So right now what it did was that it called the search and bring me that story for that particular project ID. So if I go back to the project list and then I will say, hey, bring the project again, then the stories are there because I already have that here. So when I'll be calling this, again, for example, if I create a new story, so I can create a new feature, new bug, a new chore, a new release. Actually, that's what you do on Pivotal Tracker. So let's create a new feature, and then I don't know, something here. I don't know, 1 point. I can put whatever here. So I will save this, and then what I'm doing after I click save is that I'm telling on the creator method, I'm telling the sync notification that I am creating a new story. So that's why when he gets back to my index, he will check that I have that created action here and will perform new search. So that will bring me my data updated right away. So I don't need to wait until roads call that pull interval time. Just I need my data sync right away. So I click save, and that's why I go to the spinning wheel again, because I'm syncing again, because I need that information to be updated. And well, I have my story right here, something here. And let's check actually that the story is right here. So I go to people to tracker. Okay, let me sign out here and let me also screen. I go to the icebox. Well, this story should be right here. No. Well, it should be there. I don't know why people tracker is acting weird right now. But anyways, this is how this TrackR application is working right now, getting everything from the people tracker. So I have this story right here in the icebox. So if I have that right here, if I need to go back to the current, so I will click here and select current, and it will give me this story right here. This is another test. It was up. enter text here. This is a test project that I just created before the webinar, so we can have that there. You see these 4 comments, and these are my 4 comments right here. And you can check that actually was where is it? Here are my comments, and you could see how fast it was. And I could also start write it out. Okay, then go back to my project list right here, and clicking on our project and continue working on People.Tracker with that speedy that we just showed. So I'm going to log out here, and well, I guess that's all that we need to show for People.Tracker right here. So I'm going to stop for 10 minutes. So if you have any question, please type it right there, and I will be answering that.
Great. Thank you, Mario and Jonathan, for your great presentation.